Hey guys, welcome back to the Gooner podcast right here for the Gooner Talk. Of course, there are three things I want to talk about in this podcast. It's been a week. A lot of things have happened actually. I think surprisingly, in terms of the transfer rumor, one rose particularly in the positive direction that nobody would have thought of. I will talk about that later on. But the first thing I want to talk about is pretty much the game against Monaco, the Emirates Cup. I didn't watch the game. I was at work, but I watched like probably 5 to 10 minutes of it at most during work. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but you know what? It's Arsenal. I mean, I gotta watch at least a little bit of it. So I did. Um, so I think I was watching the last not the last 10 minutes. I think I watched from 65th minutes to 80th minutes, something like that. Of course, um, I know that we drew the game, conceded first goal. You know what, I didn't really watch the whole game. Honestly, a lot of stuff that I'm going to witness today or I saw on that was pretty much on other people observations of the team. So I can't really make much of the judgment. But I think the first goal we conceded is a little bit way too easy. It was from set pieces, kind of. The ball kind of bounces off. I forgot to which player, but Martinelli should have done a little bit better defensively, being dribbled past way too early or way too easily. And also, I thought maybe somebody should have covered him a little bit, given him a little bit of a support. At least the cross shouldn't be made from that position that easily. But this defensive wise, I think it's a little bit too easy to head the ball in. Poor marking in general. Probably Partey or Kivior should have done better in terms of marking. But I heard the transition defensively has been rather bad compared to last season. And this is something that I'm kind of worried about because I felt like there's so many times, or at least the time when I had the chance to watch Arsenal, I felt like in terms of transition from a defensive point of view, we are relatively exposed and relatively naive in terms of how we defend. I'm sure Arteta wants to play a proper lone six area. Uh, I think there are times where we put Jorginho as a lone six, and it's just quite tough, to be honest, putting him as the only player. He doesn't have the legs. I know he's very good at distribution, trying to break that defensive line with his passes, crosses, through balls. But in terms of when we are being counter pressed, I felt like we looked very vulnerable. Because right now we don't have Granit Xhaka anymore. We are lacking a little bit defensively. And right now we have Kai Havertz playing that role, Declan Rice playing that role. We're trying to get familiarized with that area. And Smith Rowe can play that area as well, and Trossard as well. But again, without Granit Xhaka, I felt like we were a little bit exposed in that area. But I'm sure Arteta could probably do something about that. And later on, I think I watched a bit of a compilation of Declan Rice and also Timber. Timber looks very bright on the left-hand side, being able to play left and right. There was a ball, I believe there was a play from Thomas Partey. It was a very good through ball, faking his body to the right and allowing a through ball to Timber. That was a very good sequence of play. And Timber in general has been very impressive. I think out of those three signings, he has been the one that looks like he is ready to play. I can't really say for Kai Havertz or Declan Rice at the moment. Of course, Declan Rice is pretty much the latest who joined, but at the same time who also picked up an injury, a calf injury, and he missed the Barcelona game. And Kai Havertz is still, here and there. I know he is getting better. He felt more confident, at least with his role. And I'm sure Declan Rice is feeling the same thing as well. I mean, suddenly, playing from, West Ham with Chelsea, and all of a sudden you have to transition yourself to a much bigger club in a lot of ways, in the way how Arsenal have been playing. I think it's just really hard for them to get settled, which is I do understand that it's not easy, but I mean they have to go through that. So what's next? Well, Eddie scored. Eddie kept taking the side, and he played well. I mean, I watched a bit of compilation of him as well. He played well. Good touch. Touch and move, touch and turn. Those things, all the basics have been amazing. And dropping deep quite sometimes actually, just to give a little bit of support. By no means he's not Gabriel Jesus, but he offers certainly a different dynamics to the team. And of course, he's a poacher in the box. He is the fox in the box, kind of a Ian Wright, that type of striker. But still, I felt like there are a little bit more he can do. But in general, I think it was a very positive game, because the next thing is Gabriel Jesus is out for several weeks. I think it's a small procedure. It doesn't seem to be very serious, but apparently a surgery was done this morning. I heard, or it might be has to do with his same knee as well. I think irritation, some sort of loose like particles or cartilage or something like that hanging around in the knee area. Not quite sure what's it called. And I'm sure, I think the doctor, the surgeon, I think when they were trying to remove those kind of loose pieces in his knee. Again, I heard he might be back against Crystal Palace, but certainly he is going to miss out for 2 to 3 weeks. Hopefully, he's going to come back sooner. Hopefully, he's going to come back at least against the United game. We need him in that game, honestly. I mean, he has been looking very bright. He looks like that Gabriel Jesus when we first signed him last season, and it was great to see him for a while. And right now, he's going to be out for a bit. But in the game, second half, I watched a little bit of a second half of the game. I think notably is the Jorginho pass to Trossard. I was watching that live. He should have squared out one to Eddie. Eddie was free the whole time. I know Trossard's confidence sky high right now. He has the most goal in the preseason in the Arsenal squad. So who blamed him for going for a shot like that? But I felt like, when the yearly tradition where we always win the Emirates Cup by quite a big margin, why not just trying to win that? Trying to score a winner. But in the end, we ended up with a draw, disappointingly, and we went to the penalty kick. We scored all 5 in Aaron Ramsdale, despite getting a little bit of a criticism in terms of his penalty saving ability, and also the mistake against United. He certainly looked better in that game, and saving that penalty as well. Very strong hand, but good shot by Minamino. I believe Minamino did miss a penalty before in the Community Shield when it was with Liverpool, if I remember correctly. But in general, well, that was pretty much the end of the preseason. Bukayo Saka didn't feature. He's out for illness. But based on the squad that we're looking at, the bench, we certainly look way better than before. Looks like a proper team right now. And without Gabriel Jesus at the moment, a lot of people may raise an eyebrow on Eddie and Balogun. Of course, I have my own measure, I have my own opinion in terms of these two players. Of course, preferably, I want Balogun to stay and sell Eddie. I know it might not be a very popular opinion, and I totally understand that if you guys are a little bit annoyed with that comment, but this is how I see Eddie. But if he is staying, and he is, of course, if it gives him extra hunger to be better or to kind of, in a way, replace Jesus in the moment. Be my guest and do his best in trying to score goals. That's eventually what, Eddie did for a good few weeks, actually. Scoring two against United, scoring back-to-back games against Brighton, and also West Ham scoring a couple of goals in the FA Cup against Oxford United. That was a good spell from Eddie, but and then later on his form just kind of dipped a little bit. But honestly, even if he doesn't start against City, I felt like, Trossard might be playing as a false nine once again, or even Martinelli. I think Balogun still have a long way to go. Of course, I would very intrigued to see whether if Balogun's gonna get featured anytime soon. I mean, I still want to see him in an Arsenal shirt before he might go. Hopefully he stays. Honestly, at this point, I really don't know whether if I want him to go or stay. But preferably, I want Balogun to stay. But if that's the case, there'll be quite a bit of a competition up top, and they have to fight it. Fight it amongst themselves. David Raya. A very surprising news. Something that I would never imagine, especially with the very tight budget that we have after spending over 200 million pounds or euros and selling Granit Xhaka. Who else did we sell? Pablo Mari. That's like 30 million euros, I think. And I think yesterday or today, we sold Austin Trusty to Sheffield United. That was a very good piece of business by Edu, I believe. I think we signed him for around $1 million, or probably less than that. Right now, we pretty much have double, quadruple his value to $5 million. It was a very good loan spell in Birmingham. Felt like we could probably gotten a little bit more value out of Trusty, but $5 million is not that bad considering a player like him. All the best to him, to be honest. I don't know much about him, but I felt like every time he featured in the preseason this season, he looks pretty good, honestly. Better than Rob Holding. So all the best to him, and I mean the fact that he's able to play in the Premier League football, which is very, very good, to be honest. I mean, American playing, I think he was in one of the worst team in MLS, and right now being able to play in a Premier League team, it's a very big progress for him, and I'm glad he is doing very well. So all the best to Austin Trusty. He's the third outgoing that we have. I think we have probably sold 30 million right now, but of course that's not quite enough. And suddenly we have the news of David Raya, again, a player that we have linked quite a while ago, back in 2019, 2020. I think it was a surprise because I didn't know we are going to ignite the interest of David Raya again. But more importantly is the fact that when we are so, I don't want to use the word desperate, but we need more depth in the attacking area, striker or right winger role. We were looking for that. We were looking at Mohamed Kudus. Kudus. I was about to say kudos, but Kudus. We were looking at Mohamed Kudus, and right now the interest kind of dying down a little bit. And at one point, Chelsea was in contact with the agent, and all of a sudden there's no news of him. And out of nowhere, David Raya was the one that we might be able to spend a good fortune on him. Of course, 27-year-old, the Spanish goalkeeper international. Of course, he had a previous relationship or some sort of relationship with Inaki Kenya, the goalkeeper coach for Arsenal. Of course, I believe Inaki coach David Raya in Brentford. That's why they kept that relationship going. And honestly, I'm very excited for that, to be honest, because I felt like at one point, I'm sure a lot of people have been saying this for the past few days, but Ramsdale, it's that type of play need to be pushed that needs to be on the pressure. Again, the reason why he is very good during the away games is the fact that he is very good under those type of circumstances, those types of pressures. He did very well, honestly. But of course, over the past few months or even the year, I always thought he is kind of a. I don't know if I want to say this, but I think he's a little bit overhyped, overrated at times. And last season, towards the end, there were moments where I thought, wow, he is pretty much perfectly rated. But then the the preseason games, of course, some of them was quite questionable at times, and we all felt like Ramsdale might be way too comfortable as being the number one goalkeeper, knowing that Matt Turner is not that type of caliber of an Arsenal goalkeeper, or at least the Arsenal goalkeeper that we have. Don't get me wrong, Matt Turner is a great shot stopper, but I felt like in terms of his distribution, he is still very, very lacking in that area. So, and at the same time, Matt Turner might be leaving permanently to Nottingham Forest, and I hope that deal might happen because, again, like Fabrizio Romano was saying, apparently it is a dominoes effect right now. I think I forgot what was the dominoes effect was about, but certainly right now Forest is looking to sign. Forest looking to sign either Dean Henderson or Matt Turner, but hopefully they sign Matt Turner, which means we can make space for David Raya. But what will this impact going to do to Ramsdale? Again, to create competition, to create the pressure. That's pretty much it. I mean, David Raya is a very good goalkeeper. Statistically, Raya, it's better in terms of his distribution, his shot stopping ability. But Ramsdale, again, he has that undeniably character in him, leadership in him, and of course he's a good shot stopper. At times, a little bit wonky at times with his saves ability. Distribution has been amazing, but I felt like at times he might left focus. So that's why David Raya comes in and potentially taking his place. But I'm sure David Raya, it's there to compete, not to hang around, but to compete. And while his valuation is 40 million at the moment, with 1 year to go and a few hours to go, Arsenal submitted the first bid, which is 20 million and 3 million add-on. I think that was kind of a joke. I'm very sure Brentford is not going to accept that. I mean, it would be a miracle, isn't it, if Brentford accept that offer. So hopefully we will, or hopefully Arsenal will escalate the signing their interest on David Raya, because it will be a very interesting topic, interesting position going ahead to the next season. Who's going to play the league game, who's going to play the cup games, who's going to play the Champions League game. And I do not believe how splitting times in the Premier League between two goalkeepers, I don't think that is working, but it will be very interesting to see. But I would still prefer Ramsdale at the moment over David Raya. But of course, if time would allow, David Raya outplayed or performed way better than Aaron Ramsdale, then I'm all for competition after all. So, that's pretty much it for that. Other outgoing news, I'm not quite sure. Cedric, haven't heard anything too much about him. Pepe might be having his contract terminated very soon. Might be going to Turkey as well. Marquinhos might be going to Nantes, a French side. And that's all I heard. Is it? Or well, we heard a few rumors of Balogun and Nketiah, but it's pretty stale, to be honest. And there's one more thing I want to talk about. Yes, the post-match review is pretty much back on Sunday. Again, we are playing against Man City in the Community Shield at the Wembley. If we win, it's a trophy. If we lose, it's just another. It's just the last preseason of the game. It's not a trophy. But of course, I hope that we win. I mean, beating Man City at the start of the season would be amazing. Getting a trophy before the season starts would be amazing, to be honest. So why not get that? But my predicted starting 11 is quite straightforward at the moment. It's pretty much Aaron Ramsdale in goal, Ben White playing as right back, with Saliba, Gabriel as the center partner in the middle, and on the left back, has to be Urin Timber at the moment. I mean, he is looking very comfortable on the right side and left side as well. Why not just put him there? I mean, you can technically put Tomiyasu, but I feel like Tomiyasu still need a little bit more time. And Urin Timber would definitely play there. The midfield is going to be very interesting. I think Thomas Partey will start that game, and Kai Havertz playing as the left center midfielder. I don't think Rice would be featuring in the starting 11 yet. I think he still needs a little bit more time to adapt to the new system. Odegaard is a central attacking midfielder. I think probably the front three is going to be very interesting, but I mean, not the front three. The left two is going to be very interesting, but Bukayo Saka is certainly going to start there. But I'm quite certain that Trossard may start that game as a false nine Martinelli on the left hand side. I think Eddie played quite a lot on Wednesday against Monaco, so I'm sure he is going to definitely get some game time, Eddie. But that's pretty much the starting 11. But here we go. That's the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoy. Another 20-minute mark, and we're back for the post-match review in the next episode. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy this. Do all the good stuff with the channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.